Rob Thomas with Club and Resort Business. Welcome to another episode of Club and Resort Talks. Today's episode is sponsored by Four Supply Company. For almost 80 years, Four Supply has been a leader in the clubhouse and club supply industry. Founded in 1945, Four Supply began by operating out of a two-car garage on Chicago's Northwest Side. Almost 8 decades later, much has changed in the industry, but Four Supply remains a leader and innovator, still focused on being a one-stop shop for all customers. Learn more at foursupply.com. Hey, we got that taken care of. Let me introduce you to Phil Keren, our senior editor. Phil, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Rob. How are you?
Terrific. No complaints. A little cooler today, a little peak inside Northeast Ohio. 80
Yes.
degrees earlier this week, 50 degrees today. So, if you don't like the weather, stick around. It's bound to change.
Yes, that's our saying around here in Northeast Ohio. If you don't like the weather, just wait a minute. It will change.
Yeah. So, hey,
That is
speaking of change, what's changed in the news? We talked about last week. Now let's go to this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this week, and as I was just telling you before we came on, I kind of accidentally stumbled into a sort of family-friendly theme with the stories we'll highlight today. First, up in northern Michigan, Boyne Golf has multiple golf courses. One of those is the Highlands at Harbor Springs in Harbor Springs, Michigan. Features the Donald Ross Memorial, which actually has an 18-hole layout that is how to describe this? I guess it's like a recreation of classic golf holes from other courses that Mr. Ross designed in the early part of the 20th century. And up there in Harbor Springs, they actually have just opened 4 renovated holes. The second hole, the 13th hole, the 15th, and the 16th holes, each of those are sort of recreations of classic holes at other golf courses that Donald Ross designed. So I thought that was really neat that they've done that. The family connection kind of comes in because the Boyne Golf founder, Everett Kircher, had this vision to do this and to start this. And I guess the focus was to recreate some of Mr. Ross's holes from courses that were east of the Mississippi River. And now today, Mr. Kircher's son, Stephen Kircher, he's now the president of Boyne Resort, president and CEO of Boyne Resorts, and he's continuing his father's vision. And I thought an interesting comment he made, that Stephen Kircher made, was that he said bringing a focus on arguably the most prolific and successful architect of the 20th century was the driving force in the selection of Donald Ross's works, especially since many of his best works were not readily available to the general public. So I thought that was great to see that they're doing that. They just recently opened 4 holes that were renovated to recreate some of Mr. Ross's holes. And they're going to be continuing that going into the future here, continuing with that project. And I think it's a fantastic project. Stephen Kircher is continuing what his father started.
Donald Ross is a legend, and I was going to mention the first family of golf, and I was going to say Jack Nicklaus and his family, but obviously, first family of golf is probably the Morrises out there, Old Tom and Young Tom. But what I was going to say about Nicklaus was the tribute, which is down in the Colony, Texas, is similar, where it pays homage to, it's a Nicklaus design, but it pays homage to some of his favorite holes from major championships he's won. So that's terrific. I'd love to get up to Boyne, to that Boyne property, Harbor Shores, you said, and see it for myself. Yeah. Kevin Frisch and Carl Mickelson run PR up there. So maybe if they're watching the podcast, they'll invite us to up to northern Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be great. And I was wondering too, Rob, I'm about 2 years into doing this, and you've got a lot more background in this. I was thinking about other well-known golf course architects, Pete Dye, Robert Trent Jones. To your knowledge, are there other courses that do similar things where they pay homage to an architect like, say, Mr. Dye or Robert Trent Jones, where they replicate a hole here and there? I know you just talked about Jack Nicklaus with that, but do you know about anything like that, with a similar thing with other golf course architects?
Yeah, there are a few, spatter here and there, but I think more common than replicating holes or it's taking design touches from architects that are like the Redan style of a putting green, or some of the like the Pete Dye and the pot bunkers,
Hmm.
paying homage to Scottish design. So I think that's kind of more common than replicating holes, kind of layout by layout. But we talked about on the podcast before that there was a golf course in Long Island that is now defunct. Landman, shoot, it's out in Nebraska now. They just replicated it. The whole thing from the original design, the original golf course was spectacular, but it was taken away to house military operations during one of the world wars. But somebody then went and redesigned it, found all this old architectural stuff, redesigned it on a golf video game. And they said, well, heck,
Wow.
if you got that much detail, let's take that video game redesign and put it on an actual piece of property, actually a piece of land. So that's out in Nebraska now. I think that just opened up late last fall. So I mean, it's just so many things that can be done. It makes you wonder why they can't replicate, say, Augusta National. Take
Hmm.
Augusta National and put it in Wisconsin or whatever. I mean, every little inch of that golf course. I mean, you can't take Pebble Beach #7 and put it in, middle America because
Right.
you can't replicate the ocean. But I mean, these
Yes.
inland golf courses, why can't you just take everything about it and put it someplace else? Turf grass is different, trees are different. I know there's differences, but let's do it.
Yeah, sounds great. Who knows? Maybe we're pioneering something here right now. A
Yeah,
new
money's no
new
object.
concept, new idea. Right. Well, let's see. Moving out to I was talking about northern Michigan. Now we're moving more west here, out in Oklahoma, and I know this involves a course we talked about last year when it opened, Shangri-La Resort, Monkey Island, Oklahoma. They'd opened the Battlefield Par 3 course last year. And actually, that was done also with Crescent Hotels and Resorts. It was an 18-hole par 3 golf course, 3,000-yard layout and everything. Had 100 feet elevation change across some of its acreage. But what the real standout part of it was that each hole on the course, the 18-hole course, is named in honor of an Oklahoma veteran of World War II. So that was a great touch on that, sort of nod to history with that, nod to their state's history with it. Now we're seeing something else happening with it coming up here Memorial Day weekend. A walk-through military exhibit will open in a park, the Legacy of Liberty Park. Park itself, excuse me, is adjacent to the Battlefield Golf Course. So that's the connection there. And the park will pay tribute to all veterans of all 5 branches of the military. It's going to feature a statue of actually a replica of the statue, the famous thing where we've seen the Marines raising the flag, American flag at Iwo Jima during World War II. It's going to have a replica of that, a special memorial honoring the legendary Native American code talkers. Also, a lot of original World War II equipment will be there as well. And I just thought, again, I started off talking about family friendly. It strikes me this would be a great family friendly destination. Par 3 golf course. People and their families could play the course, then visit the park, or vice versa. Another kind of neat and unique sort of entry point to the game of golf, to have the golf course and sort of if you will, kind of an outdoor history museum right there on site in Oklahoma. It looks like a great place to go, and would love to check that one out someday as well.
Yeah, spectacular for the World War II buffs out there, right? Or any World War, any day history incorporated within the golf course. It's fantastic. I love it. There are a number of golf courses on the East Coast, maybe from the Civil War times, that have left remnants of the war. Broken down walls or bells or cannons, on their property. Williamsburg, I know, has a couple of spots like that. So spectacular. I love incorporating history in the golf course.
Yeah, and I am one of those history and World War II buffs, so that's definitely right up my alley. And I thought that was a great way to sort of combine things, and should be an excellent destination for a lot of people.
Well, let's get you to
Uh,
Monkey Island.
yeah, I would love to go. Absolutely, would love to play the course. And hey, as I've mentioned, I think I've mentioned on the podcast, I grew up on a par 3, going to a par 3 golf course at a neighborhood country club. So hey, it's definitely right up my alley, right in my wheelhouse there for sure. Also now in the Midwest, one other one to mention for today, again on a family-friendly note, Bent Creek Golf Club in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. The ownership recently changed hands there. In February, the Lemaitre family, which I guess they're apparently known for owning a chain of auto and truck collision repair shops in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. They've now acquired that club. They acquired it for a little more than $3 million. It's an 18-hole course at Bend Creek, more than 6,500 yards. They've got practice facilities, a clubhouse, and it's Joanne Lemaitre, along with her husband Richard. They own the land on which the course sits. But actually, their sons Justin and Randall will oversee other aspects of the club. And as I understand, this was previously owned by Golf View Investments, which is actually also led by a family. I don't know if it's the Cook family or the Koch family. It's Koch spelling. The club's transition actually was also helped by the fact that the Lemaitre sons, Justin and Randall, have been longtime members at Bent Creek. So I thought that was neat that they're sort of a labor of love, if you will. They had the membership at the golf course and now have decided to take on the ownership. I know a couple coworkers from past jobs who have become business owners themselves now, and I admire it because it's just a huge investment of time and energy. I wish the family the best of luck with that out there in Minnesota.
Yeah, labor of love and a passion project, maybe for the two sons, Justin and Randy. So good on them. I guess there are not going to be a lot of major changes right away, but
Right.
I'm sure little bits and pieces are going to come along. And the good thing is they've seen it from a member's perspective, so they know what's worked and what hasn't worked. They've heard the inside scoop, the people pissing and moaning about this or that maybe they can change, right away. So good on them. And like you say, best of luck to the Lemaitre family.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great point you make, that since they've been members, they already sort of understand what people like and what people feel could be improved there. And they probably have a good idea of what kind of a plan they're going to craft. And like you said, no immediate changes planned, but I'm sure they'll have some ideas as time goes along.
Well, we're talking about members and membership. I guess you have a guest coming up next that was talking about a member survey that the company did. Can you give us a little sneak peek?
Sure, absolutely. Spoke this week with Evan Summa. He's the general manager of Hyperion Field Club in Johnston, Iowa, which is a suburb of Des Moines. And indeed, they did have a survey that the club did actually a couple years, fall of 2022. They did do a detailed survey of members. Survey found that a lot of members felt the interior of the club needed to be refreshed, and many members were also interested in having an adult-only dining area. So both of those projects have come to fruition. I talked with Evan about that. I also talked with him about digital marketing efforts that they actually launched during COVID in 2020 and the success of that. And he talked about what they're doing with that. Also, they are now working on a project that involves building some luxury homes on an area right next to the driving range. And it looks like a great project. And finally, back to the family friendly, we also had discussions about their efforts to make the club very family friendly. Indeed, I might go against the adult-only dining area, but he emphasized the fact that there is also another dining area that's very family-friendly already. And but yeah, it looks like a lot of great things happening out there in Iowa. Enjoyed the conversation with Evan.
Well, with apologies to our friends in Florida, who we did not talk about at all on this particular episode until I just brought them up, let's get to it.
Welcome back to Club and Resort Talks. I'm Phil Keren. Well, Hyperion Field Club in Johnston, Iowa has been pretty busy during the last few years. The club has invested in a digital marketing effort, sold 30 acres of land that will be converted into a residential golfing community consisting of 27 luxury homes. They've also recently completed a clubhouse and kitchen renovation. Joining me to talk about these projects is Evan Summa. the general manager of Hyperion Field Club. Evan, welcome to Club Resort Talks.
Yeah, Phil, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great, we're glad to have you. And as I understand it, you've worked for the club for 12 years, but also, as I understand it, you grew up going to the club. You learned to golf and swim there. Tell every audience here your story about being a member, and I guess how it connects now to where you are
Sure,
today as a leader of the club.
sure. Well, Hyperion's truly a special place for me. I've been around Hyperion since my folks joined in 1993. I learned how to play golf here, learned how to swim, learned how to play tennis, learned how to act when you go up to a country club. Times have changed a lot since then. In high school, I had my first job here at the club. I was a bag boy in our golf shop. And then shortly after that, I went to Iowa State, got a degree in hospitality management, and then did an internship that turned into a full-time job up at Interlochen Country Club in Minneapolis. And then kind of was unsure about living in the cities. Great place to live during the summer, the winter. It gets a little cold up there. And an entry-level position opened up here at Hyperion, and it just felt right for me to come back to Hyperion. That was back in 2012. And then I've been very fortunate to work my way up the ladder here to GM. My year anniversary of general manager will be next week. So definitely, like I said, a special place for me. A lot of memories here. See faces that I used to clean their clubs way back in the day. Now I'm the general manager of the club. So yeah, it's truly a special place for me, and I love it here.
Well, good, great to hear. Well, let's share a little bit, an overview of the club, the facilities you have, and the amenities you offer there.
Yeah, so our membership is right around 550 members. We have 18-hole championship golf course, driving range, tennis facility, swimming pool, banquet facility, now 2 dining rooms, full service kitchen, as well as a fitness center and a group fitness center downstairs and a poolside grill.
Okay, a lot of things offered there. And as we were talking before we came on, you told me been trying to promote a very family-friendly atmosphere at the club. Uh, Tell us about that, how that's working and what forms that's taking.
Sure. Well, clubs are sure evolving. I look back when I first started here in 2012, and we were more so a golf-centric club, which there's nothing wrong about there. There's a lot of golf-centric clubs, and that's totally okay. But in the last 5 to 6 years, we established a goal. We wanted to be the premier club in Des Moines for families. And everything we try to do here, whether it's events or different things around the club, we try to center it around the whole family. And we really think that's important. But to do that, it starts with the staff. And what I've tried to create is a very caring and empathetic environment for the staff. We want them to feel valued. We want them to, be excited when they come to work, excited when they work, and then, obviously feel good when they go home. And, that takes a lot of time to really establish that culture. And I feel like we really hit that, last summer to a level that I really thought our success was great last year, and we're looking to build on that success. And one thing that I was taught is, you have to care about people. And if you care about people, they're going to care about you, and they're going to care about their job, and they're going to take pride in it. And you start that with the staff, that family environment, and that transforms to the membership. Those staff members that you created that culture, where they're going to treat the members like family too, in some way. So it's really been fun to see what we've done here. Yesterday, for example, Sunday afternoon, we had a divot party, we call it. We had 60 people out there, 15 families that took 2.5 hours of their Sunday afternoon that went out and filled divots with the superintendent, the director of golf, and the general manager. And afterwards, we all shared some pizza and some pop afterwards. And you just take a sense of pride with that. I'm out there driving one of the carts that's got all the seed and soil in back, and you got these kids coming up there wanting to get dirty and everything. And that's awesome. And they take pride in their golf course and their club. And we do a lot of different events, but we really try to center those events, like I said, all around the family. And one thing we've been able to do with increased membership and increased dues revenue and capital revenues, nearly all of our family events are at no charge to the membership, which I think is something that we really worked hard to. And I know the membership appreciates it, and it drives them out to the club. And if an event's free, well, they're probably going to go over to the restaurant and probably have dinner afterwards. And the family thing, we really stress that hard. And that's what we tell young families that tour around the club, that we're not just here for dad. that wants to golf. We're here for everybody. So really our story here is quite unique, and I'm really proud of where we've gotten to, and I'm really excited. You know, one thing that I've challenged the staff this year is kind of our theme for this year is enhance the experience. We call it the Hyperion experience, is what our membership wants to come up here and enjoy. Well, how can we enhance it? You know, one of my challenges to them is, you know, look at our successes we had last year and how can we build on them, and how can we stand out even more? So when that member is driving home from the club, you know, they're saying, wow, we had a great day up here, as well as, you know, maybe some things that didn't go our way last year. Well, this event just, it was a flop, or, you know, we had issues with this. Well, how can we take that and build on it? So I'm really excited. We've got our annual staff meeting coming up here Monday afternoon, where I'm going to have 180, 190 people in front of me, where we're going to go through, you know, why we're here, what our role is, you know, housekeeping stuff. And we started that last year, really had a lot of success, and really gets people, you know, fired up. The pool's going to open in here in 2.5 weeks, and you get in front of the staff, and you're able to just, you know, really relay our message so that, you know, it's not just something they read on a, you know, paper that they get when they're hired. Well, no, this is, we're passionate about what we're doing here. So looking forward to that.
Excellent. And I'm just curious too, what has been the overall feedback from members about the promotion of the family friendly atmosphere?
Really, really positive, Phil. We did a survey back in the fall of 2022. First survey in 10 years, probably way too long to go without a survey, which we're actually going to survey 20% of the membership here this fall. But, you know, we listed, it broke it down from golf to food and beverage to club events, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, the feedback we got for the events that we do for the families was really fantastic. And that's why we continue to add more family events. And, you know, what else can we do? What event can we do that's maybe a little bit different? It's not like a, you know, bingo night, but let's do something like a fall fest, or, you know, a Taylor Swift trivia night, or a schools out party at the pool. Or big last year, we started a relay night with our swim team, and it was fantastic. We had about 180 kids in swim team last year. And it was a relay night where they're competing against themselves. It wasn't a swim meet. And, you know, you do those things and you just see the smile on people's faces. The adults are having fun. They're with their friends. The kids are having fun. You know, we look to build on that here this summer as well with some different events we're going to try.
Excellent. Sounds great. When I started this interview, I did kind of run through a few things that have been happening with the club over the last few years. And I know you touching on stuff a little bit, but I guess to kind of
Sure.
drill down into some specifics some more. So in 2020, the club, you invested in a pretty thorough digital marketing effort. Can you kind of
Mm.
tell us about that and why you did it and the
Yeah.
types of
Yeah.
changes you implemented? Yeah.
You know, one thing we looked at, Phil, was I know Ben Lorenzen over at Champions Run, who
Hmm.
they kind of started this whole digital media campaign, and kind of was seeing what they were doing. We had an employee at the time who was working in the golf shop part time for us until he graduated from college with a marketing degree. And I was like, hey, you know, like, can't we do something like this? And he started his own company shortly after that, and it's called TH Media. They're out of Des Moines, and what they've done is they've taken our social media, they've taken our marketing, they've taken our email communications, and basically like totally rebranded it about featuring that Hyperion experience that I mentioned. And, you know, a lot of videos, a lot of stories on Instagram and Facebook, you know, all kinds of stuff we're doing. And, you know, we saw it really change like overnight just with interest in Hyperion back, you know, 2020, obviously you had the pandemic, you know, which resulted in a big boom in the golf industry. But we really thought, in a combination with the boom in the golf industry, but probably more importantly, our presence on social media, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the TikToks, all that stuff, got our message out to the Des Moines area and resulted in a full membership with the wait list. So it's really been the best thing that we've done as far as a marketing. You know, we've tried different marketing pushes around the community, but you know, that social media stuff is so dynamic and what it can do and the people you can target. And we're fortunate TH Media has done a fantastic job for us so far. And we continue to come up with different ideas of how we can get more creative with our social media. And I look forward to seeing some of that this summer.
Great. So we have a lot of club general managers watching our program or listening to the program. Can you offer some, I guess, specific examples of some different techniques that are happening with the digital marketing effort you have?
Sure. Yeah. Specifically to Facebook, with what TH
Hmm.
Media can do for us, they can target certain folks, certain people around the community. And then, you know, obviously there's a cost into that, which is part of that, but you're able to put our experience, our videos of this event happened last week. You're able to target these people, and a lot of these people are inquiring for membership that like a post or start following Hyperion, and then you see their membership application come in a month later. So, it takes a lot of work to get there and to capture your message. I mean, we now have hundreds and hundreds of videos. We have podcasts. We have all kinds of things we do on the different platforms, but you got to start somewhere. And for what we've done is this will be year 5 with it. It's some of the best money we could spend.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And since so far too, I mean, members, how do have you received a lot of feedback from members about these different digital marketing approaches and
Oh yeah, they
starting to
love
get
it. They love
works?
it.
They love it. Yeah.
We'll do contests where, if you share this message or this post, maybe you get a reserved parking spot at the pool in the parking lot for the summer. And I mean, everybody shares it, so you see
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And, they maybe they couldn't make it to the wine dinner that was last night, but then they see the video the next day and then they're up there. Oh, I got to make it to the next wine dinner, Evan. That looked like so much fun last night. So you hear that stuff, you're like, okay, we're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great. So the another thing I mentioned in the opening was that in 2022, the club sold 30 acres of land to a home developer. Home
Yep,
developer is Denton Homes and Carmel Development. Is that correct?
that's correct.
And that you're building right now in the process of building a residential golf community of 27 luxury homes. Tell us about why this was undertaken.
So back in 1991, the club acquired about 55 acres across, we call it Northwest Beaver Drive. That's the road right in front of the club. Primarily, that land was purchased to put in a driving range, which it did. That took up about 25 of those 55 acres. And ever since then, the club's always been looking to capitalize on that 30 acres of unused timber ground. Multiple developers have come to the table over the past year or past several years, excuse me, and they couldn't get the deal done. There was issues with the access point and different things with the city requirements. So we finally had Denton Homes, Scott and Stephanie Denton, a local developer here in Des Moines. They came to the table, and we had to jump through a lot of loopholes with the city. Part of that property backs up to federal property, so you had to jump through a lot of stuff over there. Had to get membership approval to sell the land, but we were able to close last year in July, and it was really a game changer for the club. Obviously, we received proceeds from the sale that we were able to put back into the clubhouse, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, it's one of a kind of a development. When you look around central Iowa, even the whole state of Iowa, there's only a couple other, I call them residential golfing communities. So yeah, members or homeowners over there will be required to be members of the club. That is a requirement when a lot is sold. The initiation is paid to the club. Initiation fee is paid to the club, and then they become members right away. And then they begin building their home. Homeowners can also have a golf cart over there, which I know several people who have inquired about a lot are very intrigued. They lease the golf court from the club, and they can drive their cart down the road and go to the first tee or come out for dinner. So, and again, these are going to be really high-end exclusive homes. They're all wooded lots. Really one of the last wooded lot development in Johnston. That's where we're at. So couldn't be more excited. A lot of patience, a lot of dealing with different issues when you look to sell property to a developer. But we got there. We couldn't be more excited to partner with Denton Homes, Scott and Stephanie Denton. And yeah, really a game changer for the club when you look at it years to come. I look at it as an annuity. These people are going to be members of the club. They have to be members per the HOA. And even when a home is sold to another homeowner, there's a transfer fee. So you get the initiation fee when the lot's sold, and you get that transfer fee, which is similar to what the initiation fee is if a home were sold.
Okay, excellent. So was there I was curious though too about why the decision was made to build the homes on the property as opposed to doing something else with the property for the club. Was that also through a survey or feedback you were getting from members, or was
Yeah,
that through the code, or talk about that a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's always been talks of, well, we should build an executive 9 back there, or do this make a hunting lodge or something like that. But to really maximize the value of that property was to find a developer to sell it to, and it really triggered a lot of things we're able to do around the club here with different projects with proceeds from that sale. So yeah, I've a lot of people have a lot of different ideas what they wanted to do back there, but this was one of probably the best option. It is the best option with who we partnered with Scott and Stephanie and Denton Homes. They're exactly who we wanted to work with this project for us.
Okay, so and then the project itself is underway, and what's the target date for it to be
Sure.
complete?
So target date to be complete. Obviously, there's 27 lots. I know our goal is to have all 27 sold in 5 years. Right now, where we're at, they broke ground last fall, and they were actually with the Iowa mild winter we had here. They were able to work nearly through the winter, and then this spring they really ramped up construction over there. But right now they've got about the first 1,200 feet of the street in, as well as sidewalks. They've got quite a bit of street and utilities to put in, but that's all ongoing. They hope to have that all in 60 days, and then they'll be able to get the official plat approval from the city of Johnston and then start closing on lots, that hopefully around July 4th or so, and then start digging foundations here later this summer. So they've got several lots sold. I know they're actively giving a lot of tours, potential homeowners over there. So yeah, but it's definitely, the driving range does look a little bit different. Obviously, there's a road that does go along the north side, but I think when it's all said and done, the driving range will be even more private than it was prior to the road, with the road in it and the development, which we're really excited about. We've been able to make a lot of improvements over there as construction has started to the driving range, which was much needed.
Oh, okay. Oh, so work's being done on the driving range as well.
Yeah, we were able to add some target areas, add a new hitting turf mat, new putting green, and then a brand new, which we're going to break ground here, hopefully in July, a brand new short game area that we will be able to have. We had a short game area prior to the development, the road going in, but it needed some work. We wanted to add some different bunkers, add some different approaches so you could have more of a course-like feel when you're practicing. So we partnered with our golf course architect, Paul Miller, out of Minneapolis, and we're actually presenting that plan to the Greens and Grounds Committee here next week. So real excited about that.
Okay, sounds great. Excellent. I do want to move on though to talk a little bit about the I guess you were talking about surveys before, and I think you mentioned this as well. In fall of 2022, club did conduct a detailed survey of members, right?
Yes,
yeah, and as I understand it, it revealed a couple of two pretty significant interests that members had as far as seeing the interior of the club refreshed and also having a adult only dining area. And as I understand it, those have come to fruition now. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So that we just completed phase 2 of our clubhouse master plan, which called for a complete clubhouse refresh of the interior space. That's all hallways, front entry, lobby, as well as the banquet space. And the second thing we did was we took part of our banquet space, an old bar area, and we made it into a new adult only dining area, which I'm sitting in right now. And just wrapped it up here middle of April, and we opened for business here in the restaurant. We call it the Greens. We opened for business last week, and we had a very successful opening week.
Okay, that's great. And how's the feedback from members been about the adult only, about the Greens, I should say?
Yeah, really positive. That's one thing we've struggled with over the years, is with the growing membership. We really had one restaurant and it was for everybody. And obviously we're a family club. I hit that home big time earlier in our discussion, but there's also a portion of the membership, I should say, that want a space that they can go have dinner and it's just adults. So that's what we've delivered on. We've got about 40 seats in the dining room, about 11 seats around the bar. That's a reservation system, where our other restaurant we call the sports bar is just, you open seating, come and go. But we found with the reservations, at least through the first week and a half, people are excited to come up here. They know they got a reservation. Maybe they put on a sport coat and they dress up a little bit, and it's a different menu than the sports bar, a little more entree focused. I call it upscale casual. It's still a casual restaurant, but it definitely has that upscale feel. And just the comments, people walk in here and they check in with the host stand and they just look around. They're just like, wow, and I even come in here still. I mean, I'm in here right now and just looking around. It's just something that we're so proud of, and we were able to deliver on. Getting back to that survey comment you made, the number 1 and 2 thing that we found in the survey of the membership in the fall of 2022 was a clubhouse refresh, which we delivered, and a space for adult only dining, which we also delivered on. So real excited. Looking at the reservations this morning for the week, it's filling up for this week. So yeah, like I tell the membership, make a reservation, come see us.
Excellent. And so then the clubhouse the interior of the clubhouse was refreshed as well. Talk about some of those
Yes, we
specifics too.
took our banquet space, and it was very, very dark area. One thing about Hyperion, we are the highest point in Polk County, and all the south side of our clubhouse, you can see the whole city. You can see downtown Des Moines, you can see the Capitol, see out to the neighboring suburbs. And we just wanted to really brighten up the space. You got the natural light coming in, so that was one of our objectives with the architect and their design team. We were able to put new carpet down, new paint, new light fixtures, all kinds of new stuff, new furniture throughout the banquet space, and it really looks nice. It really brightens the place up. You walk in the front entry, and members or even guests, oh, I've been here over the years, and wow, this is great, So we really delivered on that, on what they wanted with the survey, as well as making our banquet space more marketable for members to host their events here, which we've seen an uptick in people wanting to book things. We've also combined that with a social media push with advertising our new space within our membership. One of the benefits of being a member here is if you want to do your business quarterly dinner or whatnot, you don't pay any room rental fee here. You just pay what you have in food and beverage. I know some clubs are similar, but that's one thing our members really do value when they're looking to book events in the banquet space.
Okay. And then I know you mentioned earlier about 550 members at the club. Is that right?
Yep.
And then how does that, have you seen an uptick in membership over these last few years after doing all these various initiatives?
Yeah, we're full right now, which is a great place to be. Hyperion, I really feel is there's 4 or 5 other clubs in the Des Moines area, and they're all great clubs, nothing against them, but I really feel that we're the premier club for families that are looking to join a club, and that's something I'm really, really proud of.
Excellent. And I know we mentioned that's phase 2 of the master plan that's been carried out. Is there a phase 3 coming up? And if there is, what will that consist
Yeah,
of?
goes all the way to phase 5. So we got through phase 1 and 2. So phase 3 calls for a front entrance remodel, an exterior front entrance remodel near our golf shop and bag room, and then also an interior refresh of the pro shop. You did this whole upper level of the clubhouse, and you walk into the pro shop, and it's still the same design from years ago. So we're hopeful that we can get both of those projects accomplished yet this year with capital dollars that we're planning for. So we're optimistic that we can accomplish both of those here by the end of the calendar year. So something definitely to the next project. We just got one project done, and we're going to start on another one. But that's exciting. It's good to see the club in a financial place that you can. A lot of these projects were kind of wants way back when, and now we're making them a reality. And couldn't do it without a full membership and their support of the club. So thank you to the membership of Hyperion.
Very good. Yeah, excellent. Great to see such great support for the club out there in Iowa. And Evan, I appreciate your time today. This project, or all the projects you've done and the ones you have coming up, sound great, sound exciting. I wish you the best of luck here as we kind of getting close to summer. As you mentioned, the pool is going to be opening pretty soon. And thanks for joining us here today on Club and Resort Talks.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. I really appreciate you having me on today.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. And just a reminder to folks who are either watching us or listening to us here, you can visit clubandresortbusiness.com to view or listen to podcasts such as this one and others. Club Resort Talks is the podcast name. Also, of course, visit clubandresortbusiness.com to see all the latest news and information happening in the club and resort industry. Take care, stay well, and have a great day.